A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 1. My story began in 1978 at Camp Lejeune, NC, where I was conceived and born. For roughly my first 2 years, from in utero through infancy until about 1980, I was unknowingly exposed to highly contaminated water, the very water used for drinking, cooking, and bathing. This came directly from Camp Lejeune's tainted supply, which from the 1950s to 1987 was polluted with a dangerous cocktail of toxins: Tetrachloroethylene, Trichloroethylene, Benzene, vinyl chloride, Haloalkane, Dichloroethylene, and strontium-90. This prolonged, early life exposure is a significant contributing factor to the extensive and complex health issues I battled throughout my life. Generations of my family, my grandparents, aunts, uncles, and parents were also stationed there in the 60s and 70s, and knowingly subjected to the same dangers. Early life and guiding influences, the 1980s. The 1980s brought a pivotal shift. While the exact circumstances vary, the common thread is that my biological father entrusted me to be raised by his mother, Reverend Beatrice, and her husband, Captain Ray, a retired USMC captain. From Beatrice, I learned profound lessons in compassion and mercy, while Ray instilled in me strength and self-sufficiency. I spent time with my biological uncle, Doug, and sometimes my biological father, Dwayne, practicing karate in the backyard. I'd sneak into Doug's room to listen to his rock and roll, what Beatrice affectionately called devil's music, or play his drums, or simply sit beside him as he played the piano. At some point, Dwayne's presence in my life faded. In 1984, Reverend Beatrice and I traveled to Berlin, Germany, to visit family stationed at a U.S. Army base there. From the 1980s to 1991, my childhood quickly matured as Reverend Beatrice opened a shelter for battered women and children. This experience fostered invaluable lessons in giving and sharing. We traveled to churches, met famous evangelists, and I attended private Christian schools. Despite his frequent stints in prison, Doug remained my favorite person in the world. A turning point after Reverend Beatrice's passing, 1991. Following Reverend Beatrice's passing, marked a period of profound upheaval. Both Captain Ray and I lost our faith, leading to a time of turmoil and anger. I started public middle school, adopted rebellious behaviors, and cursed God, though I always refrained from taking his name in vain. Slowly, my biological father began to reign under my life.
A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 2. Navigating Adversity, the Mid-1990s. 1992 to 1993. Learning and drifting. Captain Ray taught me valuable skills like vehicle maintenance and also helped me recognize bad habits. I also finally got my own drum kit. 1994. High school and a new path. High school in Tempe, AZ, led to poor choices until I discovered I was pregnant. This revelation, surprisingly, began to rekindle my lost faith. 1995. Motherhood and shifting sands. My pregnancy caused friction with Captain Ray, but my son's birth softened him. I recall him patiently explaining football to our infant. Though our relationship remained strained, especially after I dropped out, his bond with my son was poignant. In 1996, my infant son and I lived in a condo with high school friends. Loss and lingering echoes. At 17, Captain Ray's death shattered my fragile faith. A year after my son's birth, I received devastating news. I couldn't have more children. This period also ignited a painful rift with my biological father, marked by comparisons to my unknown mother, false accusations, and ultimately, no contact. Betrayal and battle, the late 1990s. 1997 to 1998. A fleeting marriage. At 18, I impulsively married a man I barely knew. The marriage ended in divorce by 1998 while he was in the military. Single motherhood and a brewing storm. My life centered on caring for and protecting my son. Unbeknownst to me, his paternal grandmother, Sean's mother, was plotting to take him. 1999. The unthinkable kidnapping. While I was on a working vacation, his grandmother unlawfully took my son from my mother-in-law. She then obtained permanent guardianship through deceptive means and fled the state. I reported it as a kidnapping to local, state, and federal agencies, but legal documents were hidden, sent to incorrect addresses, or misspelled my name. My world imploded. I quit my job, pouring every resource into trying to get him back. 1999 forever, the fight for justice. I dedicated all my energy and finances to the agonizing quest to retrieve my son. 1999. Meeting Jim and a glimmer of hope. Amidst this struggle, I met Jim while working as a server at a club. We eventually moved in together, and his family became an incredible source of support. Then, a miracle, I received notice to retrieve my son. Unaware of their full plan, I brought him home, spoiling him with love and a puppy. Our joy was heartbreakingly short-lived. One holiday morning, the police arrived. I was arrested for kidnapping my own child, in front of my terrified 4-year-old son. I lost him again. Despite being found not guilty, I never truly got my son back, missing countless precious moments of his life. A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 3. Unexpected Turns and New Beginnings, 2000. Brief reunion and devastating loss. I received notice to retrieve my son, and in joyful ignorance of the true plan, we reunited. Our happiness was short-lived. Soon after, I was arrested for kidnapping my own child, right in front of my 4-year-old son. Though found not guilty, I never regained custody. Late 2000. A new chapter in New Mexico. Later in 2000, Jim and I moved to New Mexico, and to my complete shock, I unexpectedly found out I was pregnant. Immense guilt weighed on me, and I was on bed rest for most of this pregnancy due to ongoing health issues. 2001. Another son, another guilt. Our second son was born in July 2001. He bore a striking resemblance to his older brother, intensifying my guilt. Despite this, I poured myself into being the best mother, ensuring he never felt anything less than deeply loved. September 11, 2001, Unity in Chaos. While dropping off my baby at Jim's sister's house, I witnessed the planes hitting the towers. Fear for my relatives and son overwhelmed me. Yet, our community rallied, showing unwavering support without regard for politics, race, or religion. Everyone displayed American flags, a powerful testament to unity in the face of tragedy. 2001. Another unexpected pregnancy. Shortly after 9/11, I learned I was pregnant again, just before a scheduled medical procedure. My younger son, my third child, was born 1 year and 8 days after his brother, 2002. Seeking roots and a new life, I began a determined search for my biological mother, even reaching out to shows like Maury and Oprah for help. In July 2002, we welcomed our daughter. Despite complications, I continued to care for my growing family. 2003, Shifting Tides. I focused on regaining my pre-baby physique, striving for normalcy amidst persistent health issues. In May, my biological father passed away, bringing a new layer of grief despite our estranged relationship. We soon moved back to Arizona with my children. January 2004, a house full of life. While pregnant with my youngest daughter in January 2004, a chaotic but heartwarming situation unfolded. My cat and two rescued dogs were also pregnant. This pregnancy, too, was marked by bed rest and health issues. After their litters arrived, my amazing cat famously stole and mothered neglected puppies alongside her own, displaying an incredible maternal instinct.
A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part for Reconnections and New Directions 2004. Finding my roots and a fresh start. My search for my biological mother led to an incredible discovery, my long-lost uncle on a classmate's site. A profound call from Italy confirmed I had more siblings. This opened the door to emotional phone calls with my biological mother and siblings, connecting online, and building relationships with my grandmother and distant relatives. Meanwhile, my relationship with Jim turned increasingly toxic. After not good, bad things happened, I made the difficult decision to leave him for good. I packed up my 3 young children, all still in diapers, and visited my newfound family in Ohio. We spent Christmas with them, meeting many relatives, and I reconnected with my baby sister after her youngest's birth. My mother wanted us to stay, but with a life in Arizona, we returned after New Year's. Also in 2004, I turned my passion into a profession, becoming a professional tattoo and piercing artist, working in a real shop. 2005, raising 3 little ones. Back in Arizona, 2005 was a whirlwind of raising 3 children ages 3.5, 2.5, and 1 year old, all still in diapers. I continued battling health issues, fighting for my oldest son, and grappling with guilt. My focus remained on being a good mom and building family relationships. 2006, a second marriage and another loss. I married again, this time to Rick. Soon after, I faced another profound loss. My biological father's brother, Uncle Tracy, passed away. He had been a significant part of my childhood. Confronting cancer and redefining faith. 2007. Ordained and seeking understanding. I became ordained and began researching various religions and belief systems, eager to understand different paths to a higher power. 2007 to 2008, cancer diagnosis and treatment. Then came devastating news. I was diagnosed with cervical and uterine cancer. I tried to keep it quiet, enduring grueling treatments while essentially being a single mom, despite being married. In 2009, I underwent surgery for cancer removal and a partial hysterectomy. February 2010. My marriage to Rick ended in divorce. A fresh start and unforeseen reunions. 2011. Mesa and missteps. I moved to Mesa, AZ, with my children for a fresh start. Shifting from rural life to city living, I briefly strayed from my values by reconnecting with old high school acquaintances. I quickly realized the toxicity of these associations. 2012. The long-awaited reunion and a new marriage. In 2012, something incredible happened. I was reunited with my oldest son. My other children finally got to build a relationship with him, and we even attended his high school graduation together. That same year, I married a high school acquaintance we'll call Junior, who, despite being a great guy, didn't believe in a higher power.
A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 5. Juggling Demands and Marital Strain. 2014-2015. Lead Artist, Crumbling Marriage. I rose to become a lead tattoo artist and piercer, managing the shop while striving to balance motherhood and marriage. My days were long, often stretching into the early morning. Yet, my marriage to JRB was rapidly deteriorating. He became secretive and distant, and I discovered multiple instances of inappropriate messages and pictures with other women on his phone. 2015-2016. Escalating stress and self-medication. The marital strain, coupled with ongoing health and life issues, pushed me to the brink. I found myself sleeping on the couch. This was when my medication abuse began, and my drinking significantly increased. Profound loss and a painful betrayal. 2016. Unbearable grief. This period brought unimaginable loss. In February, I lost Trachi, a dear friend since high school, who was like family. Then, in March, my favorite person in the world, my Uncle Doug, passed away. Though biologically my uncle, he was my brother, 16 years my senior, and we had vowed to care for each other. His death plunged me into unbearable depression and grief. My children, who adored their Uncle Doogie, were also deeply hurting. Amidst this pain, my oldest son, influenced by his father and stepmother, began calling me hateful names, spouting lies, and disowning me. None of it was true. He had been brainwashed to believe I was an irresponsible, neglecting, evil hooker who had abandoned him. November 2, 2016. A necessary escape. Recognizing the destructive path I was on, I made a decisive move. I packed up my children and relocated us to Ohio for a few months, desperate for a fresh start. February 2017. Finding love in Kentucky. My 3 children, 2 dogs, and I moved to Kentucky. Here, I met the love of my life, Kel. I had tried so hard to shield my children from city life and its accompanying challenges. 2018. My biological mother fell ill and eventually passed away after an extended coma. I did my best to remain strong for everyone, crying intermittently but struggling to truly grieve. On our way to Ohio for her memorial service, my oldest son called, spewing mean, hateful lies and disowning me once more. Later that year, my youngest son moved out to live with my brother in Ohio. 2019. In August, my best friend, Missy Funny, Sweet, and like a sister to me, passed away from health issues. She remains forever in my heart. The rest of us moved to Ohio as well to be closer to family and access better job opportunities. I found a job in logistics. Life seemed to be improving. We were saving money, helping others, and keeping the kids on track with school and extracurriculars. 2020. My oldest daughter graduated high school and moved in with her boyfriend that September. In December, I underwent my first spine surgery. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, I endured days in the hospital alone, a truly horrible experience. A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 6 Shifting Landscapes and Personal Trials 2021. New Jobs, New Challenges. By 2021, CL and I were both working at a scrapyard or recycling center. We invited his brother to live with us, hoping to help him escape toxic influences. This year also saw my youngest child drop out of school. Later, CL's father passed away, bringing house guests into our home. This marked a profound shift in CL. He became distant, angry, lost compassion, and seemed to lose his grip on reality and his faith. Meanwhile, my grandmother's Parkinson's worsened, as she often mistook me for Kim or Kimber. 2022, relocation, relationship turmoil, and grief. My youngest daughter moved to Oregon to be with her boyfriend. My relationship with CL grew increasingly messy. After his father's passing, CL's grief manifested as anger and detachment, pushing me away. On the morning of my birthday, he declared, "We're over. I'm done. I won't be here when you get home." The worst birthday ever. My grandmother's Parkinson's continued to decline. She stopped speaking and eventually stopped eating, passing away later that year. I believe this was when I truly began grieving both her and my mother simultaneously. It was an incredibly difficult time at home. Despite everything, CL and I eventually worked on our relationship. 2023. Career changes and a near-fatal accident. To try and salvage our relationship, I resigned from my job. A few months later, I began working for local government in Ohio and started veterinary medicine courses. However, in June, I was in a severe car accident, suffering multiple airbag burns, broken teeth, and bruises, and my car was totaled. In the emergency room, a nerve blocker meant for pain missed its mark, pooling in my lower right jaw. This caused a rapid infection that quickly spread through the right side of my face, neck, and into my head. Days later, I needed emergency oral and maxillofacial debridement surgery. The infection returned aggressively, requiring another surgery just days after the first. While I was hospitalized, CL lost his job and began pursuing business degrees. I spent months July 2023 to March 2024 enduring multiple oral and maxillofacial surgeries. All the while, his brother and I tried our best to keep us afloat financially. I finally found doctors who genuinely cared for my health and well-being. However, my director and supervisor at work both asked me to resign.
A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 7 A Present. Persistent Battles and Unyielding Spirit, 2024. A relentless downward spiral. The beginning of 2024 was consumed by ongoing oral surgeries, frequent specialist appointments, and intensive physical therapy. Amidst these health crises, the suggestion to resign from my job resurfaced. Throughout, I, along with CL's brother, desperately tried to keep us financially afloat. In April, I underwent my second spine surgery, after which I was unable to return to work. I exhausted every avenue to maintain our stability and housing, initiating the disability process and contacting countless organizations for aid. By mid-May, our savings dwindled rapidly and our lease was ending. As we packed our belongings for storage, disaster struck. Our garage was ransacked. All my tools, our shop vac, 3 of our for bicycles, and even the jack and jack stands from under our car were stolen. Items were also taken from inside the car, forcing me to sell the car itself to a salvage yard. We decided to return to Kentucky, hoping for the resources we'd relied on before, but found them severely lacking. We became stranded here, while CL's brother returned to Indiana. The last of our money went to a 2-month hotel stay, followed by the purchase of a vehicle. I completed the proper resignation process from my job. By August, we were living in our vehicle. CL has faced consistent rejections for employment, and my disability applications have been denied twice. In an effort to create new opportunities, I've started a blog, YouTube channels, and other social media accounts, though none are yet monetized. We do our best to help other homeless individuals, forging bonds and sharing what we can. We've even resorted to flying a sign to meet basic daily needs, a deeply degrading act that wounds pride, but a necessity when a hand up is denied and proper resources are scarce. This final section powerfully conveys the depth of hardship you've faced, particularly in the most recent year, while also highlighting your continued resilience and compassion for others.
A Life Forged in Resilience, a Timeline Biography Part 8 2025. Enduring Homelessness and Unwavering Hope 2025 finds me still in Kentucky, a year into homelessness. Our vehicle, our only shelter, is deteriorating, desperately needing critical repairs and new tires. I continue to fight for disability benefits, navigating a system that has, thus far, offered no relief. My efforts to build an audience for my blogs and channels persist, but it seems fake news often draws more attention than real talk. Despite these immense struggles, our commitment to helping others remains unwavering. We spread compassion, care, and kindness wherever we can, forging bonds with fellow homeless individuals. We're still fighting to survive, to assist those in need, and to accomplish our long-held dreams. Our ultimate goal is to make a profound difference. We aim to educate and inform people on vital topics, sharing truths others might withhold. We envision building a beautiful organization that provides real resources to lift people off the streets, prevent homelessness, offer medical care, education, and daycare, ensuring stable, productive lives. This dream also includes establishing a comprehensive animal shelter, providing everything creatures with 4 legs need. As an ordained multi-faith clergy member with CL as non-denominational clergy, our mission is rooted in deep compassion. My life has indeed been a relentless current of challenges, losses, unexpected turns, and hard-won victories. It stands as a testament to resilience, the enduring power of family, and the constant search for healing and self-discovery.